You're now tuning into the Who and How Club with your host, Arys Dejan.
Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Arys Dejan checking in with you quickly on a Thursday. I just wanted to preface this episode by saying, it's a really dope one. I really hope that you all enjoy it. We have a special guest who pretty much counts as our first guest for 2021. So it's pretty much a special episode. We have MeMe Walker from the Hand Me My Purse podcast on the show today. So we're going to get to know her. She hails all the way from Baltimore. So we're going to get to know her and her perspective on life, and especially with what's going on in the States over there. She'll get to share some of those perspectives, and, just we're going to get to know who she is, what her passions are, how she got into podcasting, how her and I connected, and pretty much, a lot more. I don't want to give everything away, but her podcast does launch this Friday. It's actually season 2 of the podcast launching. So you're going to be able to, follow her, get familiar with her show, and connect with her offline once the episode is over. And this is what we do at the Who and How Club. We invite strangers on the show and we get to know them. We figure out the who's and hows of their world and what makes them them, the who's that they are. So enjoy the episode. We do have a few reads for today that I wanted to start off with. Just get these out the way so I don't interrupt the flow of your episode, of your listening to the Who and How Club. So let's get these out of the way and enjoy the episode. Let me look at the reads today. We have Auxbus. So Auxbus is a podcast platform. Podcasts are a great way to build great relationships with your audience and grow your business, as you know. And the best way to get your podcast started is Auxbus. Auxbus is the only podcasting tool you need. You can plan, record, launch, host, distribute, all of that jazz. I actually use Auxbus for my podcast, The Who and How Club, because it's easy enough for everyone to use. And it saves a ton of time. So you could get 50% off your first 2 months of Auxbus with my special offer code. Pretty much the show special offer code WhoHow50. Once again, the offer code is WhoHow50. You could get 50% off of your first 2 months with Auxbus with our special offer code. All right. So if you're looking to start a podcast, go to auxbus.com, use our code, and get started, man. I know you wanted to start a podcast. I know you've been thinking about concepts and names for your show, and you got that cool idea, but you're a bit reserved to start. Just start it. Take it from me. Just start it. Because once you start, you won't be able to stop, right? We got GoodFood as well. GoodFood is a Canadian online grocery, home meal, and meal kit company based in Montreal, Quebec. GoodFood offers meal kits, breakfast meals, grocery items, snacks, and ready-to-eat products. GoodFood's products are delivered across most of Canada, actually, and I use GoodFood. I started using them. I'm an ambassador for them, and I've gotten a lot of people to sign up, so I want all of my listeners to sign up. If you're ready to eat healthy, and one of your New Year's resolutions, aside from working out hard, quitting the whole smoking thing and all that jazz, is eating healthy, then going with GoodFood is the best, your best option, in my opinion. I mean, I get busy with GoodFood, and I've learned a lot of like new recipes and ways to cook with GoodFood. So yeah, I love their portions, and you could order some specific items, ready to make items as well, or ready to made. ready to make. I don't know. But either way, discover a new way to cook with good food, original recipes, and the freshest ingredients delivered to your door every week. Use our offer code. Now, this is my personal offer code, Arys45, and you'll get 45% off of your first 2 boxes. So try Canada's #1 meal kit and get farm fresh ingredients to cook delicious recipes delivered for free to your doorsteps. So go to makegoodfood.ca and you'll see all the details. Don't forget to use our promo code Arys45, my promo code Arys45. That's ARYS as in Sam 45 to get 45% off of your first 2 boxes. And lastly, we got Manscaped, our first official sponsor. We're still promoting the Lawnmower 3.0. I think Manscaped sent me some new products actually to promote, so that'll be on the next episode once those arrive. Actually, I think they've arrived already. I just haven't picked it up. But anyway, support for the show, Who and How Club, the Who and How Club, is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. What a rhyme, right? Manscaped just launched in the UK, and we've gone years without using the right tools for the job. And by we, I'm referring to us men. Shout out to all my men who can relate to this. You could be one of the first men in England to experience their life-changing products. But if you're not in England, hey, just, grab some of these items like I have. A couple episodes, last episode, 2 episodes ago, we announced the sponsorship, and we sort of previewed the products on the visual episode. So when I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you could take a longer shave with their products. Pretty much they released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. But like I said, if you're not in the UK, anywhere, you could order these products. Their 3rd generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. The waterproof technology allows you to groom in the shower as well, which I've been practicing. One of the coolest features actually is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. All right. So if you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself, just like I have. Let's get that bush to tush clean. Get 20% off of free shipping with the code WHOHOW20 at manscaped.com and make your testes their besties. Once again, that promo code is WHOHOW20. Who how as in the Who and How Club, right, guys? Guys and girls. WHOHOW20. And get 20% off free shipping with that code at manscaped.com. You could actually use the code for any products on their site. So go to manscaped.com, use our promo code, and you'll get free shipping as well with the code. And that's 20% off with free shipping, once again, at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. They've thanked me. And that's pretty much it. Enjoy the episode 39. I'm actually really excited for episode 40 because we're getting closer to episode 50, and that's going to be an accomplishment in itself. All right. I'm signing out. Enjoy the episode, y'all. Love. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Who and How Club. It's your boy, Arys Dejan, checking in on January 13th of 2021. It still feels a bit weird to say that because, as we know, last year was a crazy long year. We felt like last year would never end. But here we are, pretty much week 2 and change into the new year, and we're surviving. It is 7:58 a.m. Eastern time. And I've been up since about like 6:30 a.m. just laying in my bed waiting for this interview to start.
Oh, wow.
I had some butterflies in the stomach because we have our first guest of 2021 online with us. So we're going to introduce her in a few seconds. I just want to shout out everybody. You know the slogan, you are the who and how, I am the who and how, and we are the who's and hows of the world. Without you, without me, there is no we. So welcome to the Who and How Club. And even though we're 2 weeks and change, and I think it's still great to say Happy New Year to everybody, whoever's just like getting that New Year feel. It's still that we'll be saying Happy New Year for the rest of the year. As long as it's not 2020, we're
Hopefully.
good. You know what I mean? But I'm feeling a bit tired. How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I feel invigorated. I usually don't get up as early and move around as much this
Yeah,
early.
yeah,
I should though, which explains why I'm always late.
yeah.
However, this morning it was good. So this today is the day. I feel like every day I'm appreciative that I get to wake up another day, right? So I'm
Yes,
glad that like God extends the grace to me to say, you know what, I'm gonna let you do this one more time, and maybe this time you'll do it better than you did the day before, right?
yes, yes.
So I'm always, I mean, it's like I don't want to say it's a curse, but like I'm always late. It's like my skin. But today I got up and I was like, if I got up on this at this time every day,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be late.
Let's. I
So
want to. I
today
want
might be
to.
the day.
I,
Today might be the day
that
where
you
the
start. Yeah.
shift. Yes, today
Yes.
might be
Yes.
the shift.
You got to get a part of the. You got to join the 6 a.m. club, man.
I don't know about that.
I've been a part of the 5 a.m. club before, but it's like I
Mm-mm.
think that's just a bit too early for me. But when you wake up early, you feel like you could really accomplish the day. You know, like
I
you're
feel
not.
good.
Yeah, you feel good. It's such a weird feeling that waking up early makes you actually feel good. But I think you need a nap at some point in
Yeah,
between.
that's the only thing. And I
Yeah.
don't like naps. And I have my entire life I've been a night owl. My entire since I was a little girl, I remember being, I don't want to date myself too much, but I'm sure by the end of this conversation, I will have mentioned how old I am. But I remember being a little girl and being up at 1 and 2 o'clock watching the Muppet Show,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Or watching Benny Hill. I don't know who knows Benny Hill,
I
but
know Benny Hill.
okay,
I just
so like
I just referenced Benny Hill like a couple weeks ago at work. So
okay,
it's
so then
funny.
you must be close to my age then. I
Yeah.
like I remember staying up watching Star Trek. I remember when TV went off,
Yeah. At a certain time at
right?
night,
At like
like the chat,
4,
like
it would go off at 4 and
yeah,
then it would stay off and then at like 5, it would only be off for like an hour or 2 hours and then it would come back on and in America, which is where I am, which is where
yes.
I'm from. I'm so sorry. God have mercy. I'm embarrassed to say so.
Oh, we'll
But
get into that.
yes, we will. I'm sure. I'm sure we will. It would come back on, and the national anthem would play an instrumental version, and then TV would come back on.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So then you're old like me.
exactly. And
Mhm.
cheers. Let's cheers to the morning.
Cheers to the morning. Clink, clink, clink. Oh, I like your mug.
Thank you.
Oh, I want one.
I got you.
I do.
I'd like to formally introduce our guests of 2021 on the Who and How Club. We have Mimi Walker of the Hand Me My Purse podcast,
Yes.
and she hails all the way from the States, as she mentioned. You're from Baltimore, right?
Yes. I grew
Be
up in
more.
Baltimore. Yes, I'm from Baltimore, and
Yeah.
I grew up in LA and
Okay.
moved back to Baltimore after high school.
Okay. I think actually I have some family in Baltimore. I
You
just,
might
yeah, I think I've.
come on down.
We had a family reunion some years back, and our
Mhm.
family from Baltimore and the Bronx all came down. Family in England.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so I think that was that was like one of the few times that I met them. But other than that, the only things that I could connect
Here we
to
go. Here we
regarding
go.
Baltimore is
I
Drew
know.
Drew
It's the
Hill.
wire.
No, I was
Yeah,
gonna say
you
Drew
know,
Hill. Come on,
good.
come
You know what?
on,
I like you.
come
I like you
on,
because
Drew
people
Hill.
always lead with the freaking wire, and I'm
No,
like, come on, friends.
I mean,
But lead
cheers
with
to the wire.
cheers to the wire, but cheers to Drew Hill.
Cheers to Drew Hill.
Cheers to Drew Hill, man.
Cisco,
People,
Nokia, Jazz, and Woody.
Woody.
That's the original four.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this new Drew Hill, I don't even. The only Drew
It
Hill
doesn't
I
exist.
acknowledge
Actually,
is
no,
yeah.
exactly. No, but actually the new three members. No, I think
No,
there's still four.
nope,
But
not
two, I like them because the
nope.
new two of the new members, they're from this old group. Remember the old group called
They are. I know what you're talking about.
Playa.
Playa. They had a
Yes.
song called
Yeah.
Cheers to You.
Cheers to you.
Oh, you are old. You are old.
It's not an age thing. I just love my R&B, man. 90s.
Yes, they're from Playa. And so
Black, and I forget the other guy's name, but Black is one of
Smoke.
them.
Is it Smoke?
Smoke, yes.
Yeah.
Yo, we're gonna be
Don't
talking
tell
for hours.
nobody. Don't tell anybody I know that. So here's why I know that.
Yeah.
So in Baltimore, like we used to have such a great like culture. Baltimore, of course, is riddled with crime. Like it's really bad now. And not that it is worse if you ask me than it was when I was growing up. But we used to have this event called AFRAM, right? Or the African American Heritage Festival.
Okay.
And it was like just a big festival. Think of it like a carnival, but all about like African American or African heritage, right? You have vendors, I actually referenced it, if I'm not mistaken, on my my third episode. I had my little cousin on and we were talking about this was last year, manifesting a hot girl summer for yourself, and talking about how excited we were that Corona was going to be over and summer could get back to normal. Yeah, that didn't.
Look at us now. Yeah.
Look at us now, remembering the AFRAMs of old.
Yeah.
And so not 2020 clearly, but 2019.
Yes.
I went to AFRAM after them like not having it for a while, or it like kind of like falling off. And Drew Hill was there, and I went because it was like a New Jack Swing, 90s R&B explosion. Teddy Riley was there. Yeah. Drew Hill was there, somebody else was there, but it was like a dope lineup. And so I went, and Drew Hill was there, and they sang, all the songs that I was there for. And then he introduced these two new people, and I was like, oh no. Mm-mm.
So yeah, I was gonna ask, which version of Drew Hill was it at the time? Was Nokio there or no?
No, it was Smoke and Black.
So it was just three of them.
No, it was Nokio. So it was Cisco, Nokio,
Black,
and Black.
Yeah. Because
I was like, who are these people? And me and my friends were cutting up, of course, and we were like, no, we don't want it. Where's Jazz? Where's Woody?
Yeah.
Woody left long ago.
I like Nokio. Nokio's a dope producer, but I feel like
Nokio is
because the last interview they did together, like as that collective that you just mentioned, we thought Nokio, like right after that interview got released, Nokio had left, so it's just down to three of them, and then they were on the Breakfast Club too. But
I like that out.
I like them in the group, but it's just they've taken so long to release music. Like I wish maybe the loss of Static Major, because they in Playa. Remember?
In Playa.
Static.
See, I don't know much about. All I know is Cheers to You.
Do you remember Lil Wayne's song Lollipop and the guy singing on that track? There was a guy with the braids on that track, and in the video,
I've never seen the video.
Okay, well, in the end of the video, they dedicated to him because his name is Static Major, and he was the third member of Playa with Smoke and Black, and he was the one writing like Aaliyah's music and all of that. So
I've heard that before, the name before.
Yeah, so he came up with the whole Missy, Timberland, and all of them, but he was like more in the background. So maybe after he died, maybe Playa kind of like they took a break.
That's hard though. Like, I can't imagine, like, being in a group and one of the members died. Like, how do you pick that up? Like, exactly. I don't even know how TLC did it. But you mentioned something that, you mentioned Missy Elliott and Timbaland. I just want to say this because I was really sitting in this the other day.
Yeah.
Missy Elliott, Timbaland, Pharrell.
Virginia.
Listen,
Teddy Riley.
So Teddy Riley.
Teddy Riley's from Virginia too, right?
No, Teddy Riley's from New York. He's from Harlem.
Okay.
That region, that Tidewater region, 757, right?
Yeah.
So much creative genius comes out. Chris Brown, as crazy as he is.
Trey Songz.
No, he's from Chicago.
No, Trey's from VA.
Is he?
I think he is. I'm most certain.
Let's fact check that.
Yeah.
You gonna do it or you want me to do it?
Go. Let's vote. Let's see who could do it quick first.
Okay.
I think he's from Virginia.
I'm pretty sure Trey Songz is from Chicago. Oh no, I need this because I need to see that. Okay. Oh no, I need to see that too. I'm one of those people who
Virginia.
You were right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What part is he from? What part did it say?
Let me double check here. He is from Petersburg, Virginia.
Oh, I don't know where that is. I've heard it, but I don't know where it is. So that region, so much creative genius comes out of that region, and I don't think it gets like the Like it doesn't get the same shine as a New York. Of course it wouldn't, and people from New York would say, of course it wouldn't because it's New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Or
Yeah.
LA. But when you sit and you think about what came out of that area,
Yeah.
for it to be so, I get, you know, like I know about New York. I've ran all through New York. I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time there. But when you think about how small and concentrated that area is, listen, it's genius. And I am very proud to say I have been doing like a lot of ancestral research and like research on my ancestors. And my mother's father is from that area.
Mm.
Oh yeah, and I mean like my family is there deep in Newport News and in Hampton or the Hampton Roads area. So I feel like it's somewhere in me. I got to dig
It
down
runs
and
in your blood. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's in my bone marrow. I got to pull it out. I got to pull it out. And I feel like they have created a lane where nobody else can run in their lane.
Yeah, yeah, it's very rare. Like there aren't
No.
many artists to name off from Virginia, whether it's the R&B or any other genre. There hasn't been.
But
It's just
I don't even just mean in Virginia. Like, who? Name one person who could run with Missy Elliott.
yeah,
One.
no.
Nobody.
She ran that and push it.
Nobody runs with Pharrell. And
Yeah,
Pusha T. So I am very excited.
clips. Yeah,
Listen, my cousin, I don't want to mention her by name. I will mention her by name. My cousin Garlette is married. Her husband's name is Glenn. And Pusha T and I always forget the other one's name.
Malice.
Malice, that's right. I
Yeah.
always, you know, he's into the church now.
Yes,
You
exactly.
knew that, yeah.
Yeah,
So the clips, or as she used to call them, the eclipse. I used to be like, I
the
don't think
eclipse. Yeah,
she used to call them the eclipse.
I think initially they were just
Well,
like
then that makes
the
sense.
locks used to be the warlocks, you know.
Yes, I
Yeah,
did know that.
they've all had like a first rendition of their names in
They
hip
had to
hop, right?
shorten it because
Exactly.
you only get they were forward thinking about Twitter. 140 characters. You only get 140. But her husband and Pusha T and Malice, they're first cousins.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at that. I'm connected.
It all comes full circle. So how you're talking about, and we'll get into like your podcast and stuff like that. But you're Oh, first off, what are you sipping on? Coffee or tea?
Coffee. And I'm not a coffee drinker.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm a tea girl. I'm a
Me too.
snooty tea girl at that. Yeah.
You mentioned about like doing some ancestral history and stuff like that, and digging. What's that process like for you, and what does that mean to you to do that?
So it has been, I haven't really touched it in a couple of months. I think when I took a break from my podcast, I kind of like put it down. Last year, actually, oh, don't cry. Actually a year to the day, this Saturday, my grandfather passed away. And my grandfather and I were as thick as thieves. He was my number one champion. If I ever had a cheerleader, it was him, unabashedly. And he would let the world know, like, this is my favorite. I love her. She's the greatest, you know. Yeah. And so he passed away. And years ago, this is my father's father. And I am more connected to my father's family because I kind of like grew up with them more.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a house with my mom and her family, but it was a small sect. And once the sect kind of dissolved, like I don't have anybody else. Right. And so I always knew that my grandmother, my mother's mother's husband, who I grew up knowing as my grandfather, not the one that passed away. I always knew, even as a kid, that I don't think he is my mother's father. And so my great aunt, which is so funny because I always talk about aunts and aunties on my podcast, but my great aunt, she was crazy. She was mean. She said, so-and-so ain't none of your mother's father. Your mother's father's name is blank, and he's from Newport News, Virginia. Ma'am, I'm 10. I don't really know what to do with this information. Yeah. And I'm not really concerned. I'm going back outside, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward to when I get older, when I moved back from California, I moved to California to live with my dad and my stepmom and my little brothers. And I came back home to Baltimore to go to college. I went to see my aunt and we were talking. And I was like, I remember you told me that, you know, so-and-so wasn't my mom's father. Like, what was his name again? You told me. And she told me and I wrote it down. I didn't think about it again. Fast forward maybe 10 more years, I ask her again. And then she tells me his mother's name, right? Saying they're from Newport News. So I start looking into it. This is probably 15 years ago, but I don't really do anything with it.
Well, what sparked when you were told that information at like 10? did you always have it in the back of your mind that you're gonna ask about this
Always.
one day?
Well,
Like when you
no,
got
I just
older or
didn't
when
think
you were
about it,
ready?
but
Okay.
no, but
Like
I am the type.
what sparked it to bring it up again?
Um, I think a longing of wanting to know and like feeling like something was missing,
Mm,
if that makes sense. Feeling like there was like a disconnect or that there was more out there.
yes.
There was more of me out
Yeah.
there somewhere.
Yes.
And so went to visit a cousin of mine in Ohio, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. We went to this African American Heritage Museum, and in the museum, you can pay $5 and go into this like library and do all of this genealogical research. My
Mm,
cousins and I sat in there for like 2 or 3 hours. I started doing all this digging. Fast forward to January of last year, my grandfather passes away. My world is rocked, right?
mm,
Devastated. And he got sick quick. And so it was a fast decline within a matter of like 2 months.
hmm.
And so I decided to join Ancestry, right? And I joined Ancestry and I start, just like looking around and start building the tree based on the information that I had gathered when I went to Ohio. So on Ancestry, like you can see like people like submit documents or you can see if someone can edit something or whatever. And so um, a lady reached out to me. I had a little bit of a conversation with her, didn't really say much. Then a gentleman reached out to me and said to me, I see that I edited a name that they had spelled wrong in the census because, back then, like white people were doing the census and they didn't really care about how they wrote black people's names because it's like, we don't really care who you are. We just want to keep track of how many people who look like you, what they look like. We just want to keep track of what's going on in the country, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I edited the name. And so this guy reached out to me and he was like, hey, I noticed you edited such, such and such. And
Wow.
that is my great grandmother and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I said, that's an ancestor of mine. I said, I'm still, trying to figure out who it is, whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, okay, and then he says, my alleged grandfather's name is my father. And I said, well, all right. And then he said, okay, cuz I'll talk to you later, like, joking. And I wrote him back and I said, this is the man that I believe is my mother's biological father. I said, so I'm pretty sure that we might be a little closer than cousins.
Right.
And so he emails me back and he's like, call me as soon as you can. And I was like, it's 11 o'clock. I'm going to bed. I got to go to work tomorrow, but I'll call you tomorrow. Also, I needed time to process that information, because I'm like, uh-oh, I started digging and now you done found what you were looking for,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And so
Are you
I
ready
called
for that?
him. Right. Well, I didn't have any choice at that point.
Yeah.
So I called him the next day and come to find out he is my mother's biological brother.
So
Or
that's your
biological
uncle.
half brother.
That's
It's
your
my
uncle.
uncle.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's my uncle. And he and I have been building a relationship since then. I still wasn't sure because I didn't have I hadn't done the test yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he did the test and I was putting it off and I was like, I gotta do it at some point because that's the only way that I'm really gonna know. Fast forward, did the test, got it back in August. He is in fact my uncle. So it has been a really, really dope experience because I got just what I was looking for. And so because it's Corona, like I haven't really been able to go see him or
Yeah.
meet him or meet the rest of his family. But like we talk, like if not once a week, we talk every other week. And it's been kind of cool.
Was that
It's
was that the first time or like the closest? I mean, not to, bring up the death, but is that the
Oh
first
no,
time someone really close to you passed away?
not at all.
No?
The first time I experienced loss in that fashion, I was 10. I was 9, and my grandmother. I grew up in a big house. You said you've been to Baltimore, but I lived on a corner row house. So a corner row house is a little bit bigger than the rest of the row homes because the other row homes are in the middle, but the corner one has like a big yard. And so there were about 7 or 8 of us in the house. I was the only child. So I was spoiled, but like we weren't rich, but I mean, even if you are poor, if you're the only kid, you're winning.
You're the
So
priority, yeah.
Yeah. All the Christmas gifts were mine.
Yeah.
Everything was mine. It was all about me.
Yeah.
And so my grandmother, my mother's mother, passed away when I was 9 years old. And that rocked me.
Mm.
But that was the first time I experienced death. And then, so she died in September when I was 9. And then in May of the next year, one of my cousins died that I was close to, one of my older cousins. And then just after that, like I was ready for it. And I didn't really, and my grandmother and I were super close. I called her mama. And I didn't really mourn her death until I was 15. Like
Yeah.
I just broke down in the middle of like doing my Saturday chores and I just like fell on the floor and just like wept.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I haven't been to Baltimore. I was my family came from Baltimore to the Bronx, and then that's where we
Okay.
had
You
that
guys all met
family
up there.
reunion.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
But my grandmother, her and I are also very close as well. I just saw her a couple
Mhm.
days ago, so I haven't experienced loss that close to me yet, but I've always
Mhm.
wondered to know. I've always, you know, it's like it's something you're anticipating, but you don't know how
Yeah.
you're gonna feel when it actually happens. You know what I
And
mean?
you can't prepare. It's nothing that you can do to prepare for it.
Yeah, and then losing
Yeah.
someone that's so close to you, like you said, it's like I'm the opposite of you. Like you were really close with your grandfather.
Hmm.
Me with my grandmother. But it's funny how like the world is, because I could go before my grandmother.
Yeah,
Like we always
that's
think,
the truth.
yeah, we
That
think
is
that,
true.
oh, because of our grandparents, they're older now, they could go any day now. But then I could walk out and get hit by a car, let's
You're
say,
right. You're
and
right.
it's just such a weird concept to fathom, just
Right.
someone not being here anymore when you
It
least
it
expect it.
it is really hard to deal with.
So how did you have you done, are you finished mourning? Like, do you ever stop mourning?
I don't think you do. I think that, well, I feel like because I'm thinking about like my grandmother, and I am actually really, really close to my grandmother who is still living, my father's mother. Like we are ridiculously close. And I think that I was kind of like my grandparents' baby because my parents were teenagers when I was born. They were really young.
Yeah.
And so I was like I was like, and I was the first grandchild. So I was like the golden child. And so
Yeah, same with me as
yeah,
well.
I
I
was
was
the
the
golden
first
child.
grandchild, yeah.
Yeah,
First grandchild.
I do no wrong. And so so thinking when I think about my grandmother, like I still get sad sometimes when I think about her. I think about the fact that I don't have anything like tangible of hers or anything. Like I don't have anything of hers. All I have is a picture from her obituary that somebody cut out for me. And so that is very hard for me to process because that is somebody that was so close to me. And when I moved to California, like I didn't know, I was a kid. I didn't think to take something with me that, was hers because I thought
Yeah.
that the house would always be there. I would always have access to it.
Yeah.
Not the case. So I do feel like you mourn, but I do feel like it gets easier, but you have to work at it. So for me, I've been going to therapy off and on since I was 25. I'll go ahead and just say how old I am. I'm not ashamed. I'm 41. So since I was 25, I've been going to therapy
You
like
don't
off and
look
on.
it though. You look really young.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Um, I'll take that. Thank you.
I'm 31, so I thought maybe you and I were
Really?
the same age, yeah.
How do you know all about this old people stuff then?
I it's
How do you know about all this
well, what is old?
old
Like
head
for
stuff?
me, no, I'm an artist myself. So I mean,
Okay, that makes sense.
growing up, just music is I'm obsessed with R&B
Okay,
and hip
I
hop
get
and
that.
the good stuff. You know what I
The
mean?
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, people say the same thing to me when I talk about like songs from like the 60s and 70s, like the
Yeah.
Shy Lights. I love the Shy Lights. Barbara Mason. People are like, how do you know who Barbara Mason is? And I'm like, I don't really even know how that
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
but it happened. But I don't think that you stop mourning. I think that it gets better if you work at it getting better. So I go to therapy. I love my therapist. I talk about her on my show constantly. She is like a little brown angel from heaven to
Mm,
me.
mm.
And so like I work on it and I stay busy. So Corona kind of sucks, but like I coach high school cheerleading. I think my grandfather's death kind of pushed me to start my podcast because I've been talking about it and looking into it since 2017. But it kind of pushed me. It pushed me to do this ancestry stuff. So it's like I need to like dive into something so that I'm not sitting and wallowing in grief,
Mm,
which happens,
mm.
and people do that, and I watch it happen. I've seen it happen.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Not only
Very
with
close.
deaths, sometimes
No, no.
we fester and
Oh yeah.
we sit in our ruts, right? Those
Yep.
feelings
Hmm.
that we feel, whether it's from loss through a death and through the death form, or relationships that don't work out, or sometimes we're really hard on ourselves at times, and we'll just wallow and sit in that, and it only leads you to, like,
It's not.
it's good to feel what you're feeling, but you can't stay in it.
No, it's really
It
so.
can't.
Here's the thing. I remember somebody telling me, and I don't think I got this from a therapist, but like allot yourself a certain amount of time
Mm.
to feel whatever you're gonna feel.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
decide. It's
You
like a way
decide.
to like take control. Yep. It's
Yes,
like
yes.
okay,
This
like
week,
with
I'm not going into
let's say
work. I'm
with
gonna take
dating.
this week
Yeah,
off. I'm gonna
that's
take
it.
this week off of work, get this all out, just sit with myself, cry a little bit.
But on Monday,
I'm
I'm
coming
back
back
at it.
strong. Yes,
The
yes.
only thing with that though is that you have to be careful not to become too rigid. You
Mm.
still have to allow yourself
To
extend some
heal,
grace.
to
Yeah, and
feeling.
extend some grace to yourself. You know what I mean? Because sometimes next week when you go to work, you might be sad and you might cry, and
Yeah.
then you need to say to yourself, "All right, go ahead, feel this, cry, or maybe I need a little more time than I thought I needed."
Well, I think
You have to
developing
figure
some
it
sort
out.
of plan for yourself in that
Hmm.
time that you're allotting for yourself, you also need to plan, like, okay, what's it going to look like if I relapse into these feelings, like
Right.
what's my self plan, my self-care plan?
My self care plan
Am I going to
or my
take another
emotional
day
care
off?
plan.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Am I going to take another day off? Am I going to bring my journal to work so I can write some things down? Am I just going to go walk, get some
Go
fresh
walk.
air?
Yep, that's it.
Like, I
I'm
could
telling
relate
you,
to that
that's
too.
what I did like all 2020.
Yeah.
I did the ancestry thing. I started my podcast. I wasn't able to be at school, like I work at a school, I work with kids. And I didn't realize until like maybe November or December how much of a toll it had taken on like my happiness and my
Mm.
joy not being around these children. Like it
Mm.
really like shifted like my outlook on like happiness. And so of course I'm navigating pretty well, but like when my therapist and I kind of did a little exercise and we started doing a little digging, like it brings me joy to work with these, oh sorry, to work with these
Work with
kids,
the,
and
yeah.
yeah, and not being around that, like my purpose is kind of tied into that, and
Mm.
not feeling like I'm fulfilling my purpose, it started to like chip away at my happiness. It did.
Damn.
I'm still working through that actually. That was a fresh thing. That just happened like we might have talked about that on New Year's Eve.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're having, like, the conversation's going the way it's going, because we're answering questions as we go, like questions that I had already, some key points that I wanted to ask you. I wanted to get into the podcast, and you kind of touched on why you started it and what kind of motivated you or inspired you to do so. And to my knowledge, season 2 is coming up, right? Soon?
Friday.
January
Friday.
15th, I think I read.
Yeah, yeah,
So let's talk about the title, Hand Me My Purse,
yeah.
right? So why
Uh-huh.
why that title?
So I have to give credit to my friend Angelica, and she has a brand called The Village Auntie. She's dope. She's great. I've always called her about my big sister since the first time we met, because she's always like embraced me as a little sister. And so we were talking. I had another title at first. It was going to be Everything But the Kitchen Sink. And so I was like, yes, this is the name of it.
I
It's
like
so
that. I
clever.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because that's like a phrase like, what are we going to talk about, girl? Everything but the kitchen sink.
But we
What are
keep
you
talking
noticing
about,
first?
like, previous, like, just like the Drew Hill stuff, just to tie
Right.
that everyone, or no, clips and
Yeah.
the lots
Eclipse.
and stuff.
So
Yeah,
I had
had
to
that.
revamp it.
Yeah.
And so I had to change it because there was already a podcast with that name.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that it's still like in existence.
Right.
But like I didn't want to cross
Right.
channels. So we were talking and I was like, what am I going to do? Having like a baby anxiety attack. Like, what am I going to do? I need a new name.
Yeah.
And so at the core of my podcast and like who I am I don't want to say in the show or on the show like I'm a character, because I'm not. I'm myself. But I celebrate like aunties in the Black community, because like without your aunt, like I know I'd be up. I don't. Can I use profanity?
Oh yeah, please
Oh,
swear,
okay. Because
swear all you want.
I was proud of myself. I hadn't
No,
used any yet,
no.
but
Me too.
I would be up Shit's Creek without my aunt,
Yeah.
without all of the aunts that I have, the biological aunts and the aunts that are my aunt in spirit. And so we started talking about things that like aunts always say, and aunts
Yes.
always say, "Hand me my purse."
It's true.
Mimi, hand me my purse.
It's true.
Arys, hand me my purse. Let me give you this $5 so you can go to the store and get
It's
me a
so true.
Pepsi.
It's
It's
so
what they
true.
say. And so that she was like, well, we started running through all these names, and I was like, that's the one. And I was like, that's it. And that's it.
So also, yeah, I feel like coming up with a podcast name, it could be like the bane of your existence,
Oh,
because
it's
like
horrible.
you don't want it to connect to anything that's already out there. You
Yep.
want it to be unique. You want it to match your personality and stuff
And
like
you
that.
don't
And
want
the
it to be
theme.
corny. And you don't want it to be corny.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of, I don't know, and I'm not being judgmental, but I am. There are a lot of corny ass podcast names.
Give me
There's
one
just a lot
second.
of corny.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Take your time.
My glasses fell. I apologize. No, I agree with you. There are some corny names and stuff
There are a
like
lot of
that.
there's just a lot of corny stuff
Yeah.
going in the realm of
Of
quote
art,
unquote
of creating it.
creativity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
a lot of corny shit happening. And so I was just like, I don't want this to be whack.
Yes.
I need to make sure that it's not. You don't have any glasses on. You said you
No, I
shouldn't you have your glasses?
they were on the You're killing me today. No, they were on the left, and they just fell. Because sometimes I don't like having them on with the headphones. They get too tight
Yeah, well,
sometimes.
I have on
Yeah.
glasses, a hat, headphones. I have everything happening over here.
And I want to go back to what you said too, because I don't want to write that off, because I could relate to you mentioned that it's a piece of who you are, the work that you do, and recognizing that, because I'm in the social services field where I work with, the homeless population, and
Oh wow.
working in the shelters and people who, go through things, and that gives me purpose,
Yeah.
just supporting individuals, or I don't like to use the term help anymore. It's
Yeah.
really just mirroring energies with individuals that I might not be able to relate to some of the things they're going through. I can relate to it at an extent, but at the end of the day, they're people and I'm people, and I get energy off of operating around people,
Absolutely.
so when I don't go to work, even though there's been once where I literally had to take a week off of work because I was just down and out, but I also couldn't wait to get back to work,
I
because
understand.
that fuels me, that gives me inspiration and motivation, to just not give up, to keep going, you know what I mean? Or like a reminder that things could always be worse.
Oh yeah.
So
And at the blink of an eye, especially when it comes to that population, like that could be me.
It could
That could
be
be my
us.
mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be my mother.
Someone has always said this saying. I hate this saying, but they say it a lot. Like, we're one paycheck away from being homeless. Like,
Yeah, I don't
even
like
though
that.
it's true,
It's true, but it's also I'm big on, you are talking about energy. I talk about energy constantly
Exactly.
on my
Who I
podcast
would
in
never
real
put
life.
that out there. Yeah.
But who, like, that's operating from a place of lack, in a place of expected lack. Like I want to be the exact opposite. I am one paycheck away from being a multimillionaire.
100%. And
Yeah.
also with when we look at the population that I work with, like, they're not, the reasonings behind their homelessness has nothing to do with that last paycheck that
No.
they might have missed or not been awarded.
No.
There are so many layers as to why someone is quote unquote homeless. Some people choose to be homeless.
Yes, they
And
do.
that's a thought that is so hard for people to fathom in 2021. Like, all these organizations and stuff, they could never think, or people in their ivory towers. No, someone would never choose to be that
You
way or
don't
live that
know.
lifestyle. You don't even know. Sometimes that's the life they choose. It
And
works for them.
I think that I'll never forget at my one of my aunt's funerals.
Yeah.
These ladies sang this song, and the name of the song was "You Don't Know My Story." Oh, and they sang it, and then like we were all falling out crying, like we were like, ah. But it's the truth. Like you don't know these people's stories,
Mm.
and so with I have an after school program that I used to run, and it was really a cool program. They owe me a check actually, and I wish that they would run me my check. I'm not going to mention their name because it's a major company
Yeah.
in America, major, and they did not pay any of the Black facilitators for their last check. And I just want to say, I'm gonna put this out there because I'm big on energy. They need to run me my check, and they need to run the other Black
It's
facilitators their
coming. It's
check.
coming. It's
It
coming in
better be coming because
2022.
I need it.
2022. Yeah.
No, I want it in 2021 because
Yeah.
I did the
They're
work in
gonna
2020.
they're gonna hear this. They're gonna hear this, you know.
Listen, I hope they do. But anyway, the program, my girls really shined in the program. I did the program and did all girls because I have a cheerleading squad. And I was like, why don't you guys just do this program? We're always together anyway. It can all just run continuously. And they had to they taught them how to be grant makers. So not the writers of the grant in the way that they are applying for the grant. They created the grant.
Yes.
And so the big company funds every location or every site $10,000. You have $10,000, create a grant. So the girls created a grant, and then nonprofit organizations applied for their grant, and then they got to sift through the applications and figure out who met the criteria the best, who they decided they wanted to have this $10,000 and why. And then we went to visit, did a site visit. So they chose a homeless, their focus was women of color, Black women in Baltimore who were homeless, right? Or who had issues around finding residence or a place to stay. And so we went to this, I don't want to call it a shelter because it was like a house. It was
Like a center, like a housing center.
Kinda,
Yeah.
because it was a building and they had housing and they could cook
Transitional
there.
housing kind of thing.
Transitional housing, but it
Yeah.
was long term.
Long
And so
term.
they help, yep, and they would help them find jobs, and they would help them find apartments and places to live. It was really dope. And so we went to visit, and we were there, and the women were telling their stories, and I'll never forget like the looks on my girls' faces when these women were telling their stories. And some of them, I cried, shoot, like some of my girls were crying. And then afterwards, like when we were on the bus going back, I was like, how did that make you feel? And they were like, it was just really heavy. It was a lot, but we want to come back and we want to do some work with the organization. And I just feel like it's important for children to experience stuff like that, even if it's just going to volunteer at a homeless shelter or playing with sick children or doing something, because they need to understand that they are really blessed to be in the situation that they're in. Even if their situation is not that great. Because I had kids in my program, or, I've worked with kids that did not have a really great life, but when they see that, it's like, well, shit, I'm not gonna really do too much complaining because I did eat last night, or I do have clean clothes.
You have access to a bed. You have access to open your fridge whenever you want to, as opposed to someone, telling you when or
even if you don't have access to a bed, because I had one student who her family kind of bounced around from house to house, but you can sleep there and nobody's gonna rape you. You can sleep there and nobody's going to steal your clothes. Operating from a lens of gratitude is very important. It's very important for joy.
Yeah. We have to be appreciative for the things that we have, or to be born where we're born, regardless of I'm going to swear now. Okay. The fuck shit, all the fuck shit happening around us. Like there are places on this planet that, to us, they have nothing, and maybe in their eyes they have everything, right? They don't know
because they have everything they need.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's about need.
And I just want to congrats on season 2. How many episodes do you have for season 1?
Season 1, I have a trailer, and then I have 18 episodes, and then I did a bonus episode over the holiday. So in total, I have 20 episodes, but it's really a bonus and a trailer.
Okay, and then what's your goal for season 2?
I would like to keep it the same way.
Yeah.
I tried to sit down and map it out. I don't really know how it's going to work because I want to take a holiday break every year.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna have to take a holiday break and like a month off in the summer for it to map out to be about 18 to 20 episodes.
Yeah. And where can people listen to your episode and find it? Your podcast.
I am on
Everywhere.
everything.
Everywhere.
I'm everywhere. Apple, Spotify, Pandora. After 9,000 years of waiting to be on Pandora, I am on Pandora, but I will say it's worth it. It was worth the wait.
Yes.
Pandora, Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music. I mean, wherever you look,
For
you gonna find
podcasts.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So people
you gonna
just
find me.
so people could just find "Hand Me My Purse."
Yep, just
They'll type
Google.
that in, and then
Yep.
on Twitter it's the same thing, right? And Instagram.
So on Twitter, it is HMMP_podcast. And on Instagram, it's Hand Me My Purse _podcast.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check that out and get familiar with MeMe Walker, hailing from Baltimore. She has a dope perspective. She has a dope energy as well.
Thank
I
you.
haven't. Thank you. I haven't listened to the podcast yet because I like to just talk to people first, and like we're strangers.
Right.
I want to get into like how this episode came to be as well, because I feel like people who are out from the outside looking in, wanting to, create a podcast or get guests on their show. Like I want to share information. I don't want to be selfish with our processes because a lot of people who make it, quote unquote, they don't share the wealth. They're like, oh, you figure it out on your own and I had to do it on my own. So you like, no, let's just be transparent and inspire others, So we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, for those who are interested in getting to know MeMe Walker more, make sure you follow her on all of her socials and look up the podcast because season 2 is starting this Friday and we're going to support that. That's when I'm going to tune in. Season 2, episode 1. All right.
That's
good. So let's quickly talk about how this episode came to be, and then we're going to do a quick lightning round of questions.
Lightning round. It's like Jeopardy or something.
Exactly, just like bang.
Shout out to Alex Trebek.
Oh,
Rest in paradise.
Yes, I Canadian guy. I just looked up. Yeah, I just looked up a couple of days ago. They did a tribute to him on Jeopardy.
Yeah, I missed it.
And they were showing like when he did this episode where he dressed up like Gene Simmons and Kiss, and they took like a side-by-side photo and whatever, but they showed the process of him going through that transformation, which was a really dope send-off, But
he was a dope guy.
Yeah. Classy guy. Like you never heard any nonsense about him.
Well, I tell you what, since he's passed away, I saw something where they were doing like bloopers of the show. He cursed like me, dude.
Yeah.
He was dropping.
I have to watch those.
You have to Google like Alex Trebek cursing or something, and it was awesome.
He's like everybody's uncle or granddad.
Yes. You're like, oh, he's really down to earth. Not only is he down to earth, but he's really down to earth because he's cursing like a sailor.
Yeah. I'm gonna look that up. So how this episode came to be is you and I are both on a platform called Matchmakers for podcasts. And that allows people to connect with guests from all over the globe. Now you could post we're not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I feel like, that them creating this platform is supporting us in a way. So I think us supporting them with a mention is necessary. So you could put your show on there so that people, if you're a podcast host or you created something, people can submit to be a guest on your show, or you can have your guest profile on there where people like other hosts of shows or other platforms can reach out to you and request you as a guest. So that's how you and I connected, and now we're here today. Just we're strangers. We've never spoken. We don't know each other. We never had a pre meeting, and that's what the Who and How Club represents. Like the who of who you are and how you became the who that you are. Just having conversations with people you've never spoken about and getting to know them in an organic way. Because I think what bridges us or what brings us together is just communication. But we don't have enough of it. Like we're afraid of each other to have conversations with people you don't know, but.
Well, also there's the issue around like judgment. You know what I mean? Like people decide things about people without really even knowing who they are or why they are or how they are, who and how they are.
Who and how,
Look
yeah.
at that.
But you could
Who and how.
find so much about yourself, find out so much about yourself, even speaking to strangers, people you don't know. You realize
True.
how much you actually relate to them
Absolutely.
in
I
such an
agree.
organic way. It's not like someone
Because
you've known for 10 years or your friend from grade 1. Like, no, this is a stranger and you're still able to connect with them. Like,
and I
wow.
feel like talking to you, I'm like, oh, we went to high school together.
Exactly,
Like,
right?
yeah,
Like, yo,
yeah,
we were bumping that Playa
yeah,
album in the
yeah.
90s, right?
No, you were. I was not listening to Playa. I absolutely was not.
You're killing me.
I was not listening to that. I don't like Pretty Ricky either. Just a side note.
Ew.
Yeah,
No.
they're a little
No,
trash.
that's that. They're separate from.
Yeah,
They're like
that's
on
not
a
'90s.
spectrum.
They're the
No,
2000s. Yeah.
exactly. Actually, they're in the news. Hold on. If you see me looking around and stuff or under, it's because I'm looking at my dog. So bear
It's
with me.
okay.
What are you doing? Stop. Thank you. And okay.
Wow.
Anyway,
The dog just stopped like that.
yeah.
You said, "What are you doing?" Stop.
Apollo. I always mention him on
Apollo.
the podcast. So yeah.
Hello,
The
Apollo.
voice. All right. So quick lightning round.
Okay.
Let's get to know Mimi and like who are you?
My name is Mimi, and my name is Mimi Walker. That is, it's funny. My name is not Mimi Walker,
Mm.
but my name is Mimi Walker. When I was born, my name was Walker, and then my mother changed my last name, and she gave me the last name of her stepfather because he
Mm.
adopted her because she was so young when
Mm.
she had me, and so I used that name, and people around me were like, "Why are you using that name?" Like my family, and
The
I was
last
like,
name Walker.
"Yeah,
You mean? Okay.
because my first name is like Mimi is my nickname.
Okay. Okay.
Walker is my original last name,
Okay.
and nobody knew that until I came out with this podcast."
I understand. Okay, so that was your last name initially, and
At
okay,
birth.
at birth.
So Mimi Walker is essentially the original me.
So that's like a version of you, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the original me.
The original
The
you.
me that never got to blossom.
To flourish, yeah, to present herself
Yeah.
to the world, but now you
Yeah.
do it in
Here
this
she
form.
is. Here she
Exactly.
is.
If I asked you who you were once again, and we didn't focus on your name,
hmm
how else would you answer that question? Who are you?
Who am I? And just there's no like template for that. Just what would I say?
I'm not responding. There's no
Okay.
limit. You tell me.
Okay. You have amazing teeth and an amazing smile. I'm like obsessed with people's teeth. Your teeth are really good.
You're
I don't
killing
know
me.
what your parents did with your teeth, taking you to the dentist, but it works. I don't know if you flossed three
You're
times a
so
day,
stupid.
but I feel like I am not worthy to.
You're
His
killing
teeth are
me.
really nice. And
You're
I'm not even being like a hot,
you're
fresh old lady.
you're
I'm not being a cougar. I'm not. I'm just saying that you have really nice teeth because I look at people's teeth, mainly because I'm afraid when people don't have teeth. It freaks me
mm,
out.
I,
Speaking of aunties, and I'm gonna get back to who I am. I'm not trying to.
yeah, no. Yeah.
I had an aunt. Her name was Isabel, and she had like 7 good teeth in her mouth. I mean, dressed. She dressed like she always had on like fine outfits, like really, really nice outfits, jewelry. Her hair was always done. I mean, in the 80s, like 80s and 90s, like my aunt, I called her Aunt Abel. She was
Oh,
always decked out. 7
yeah.
good teeth. That's it. Freaked me out.
You're
Anyway,
gonna make
moving
me
forward.
wake up the apartment complex
Please,
this
I'm sorry.
morning
Okay,
from
I'm sorry.
laughter. You're
Who am
killing.
I? Who am I? I am
Names
a Black
aside.
woman.
Mm,
I'm a Black woman.
mm.
I am Black first, and I'm a woman second. And sometimes I get into arguments with people about that. But if I were not a woman, I would still be Black. So
Mm,
I'm a Black woman. I am a proud Black woman. Um, I am a lover.
mm,
I would like to believe that I am a good human. Um, I believe in things being fair, and I believe in being kind. I am a grudge holder.
mm.
I'm a work in progress. I am, and I hate when people say this because I feel like people say it a lot, but I'm like a beautiful mess. Like I'm dope as fuck, but I'm a fucking mess, man. I am.
Mm.
I'm a mess just working on not being as messy as I was yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah, I am.
What is it that you do? Like, how would you describe the what that you do, that MeMe does? What do you do?
What, as far as how I navigate or how I show up in the world? You're not going to answer that. What do I do? Kick ass and
Remember,
take numbers.
I'm a stranger. Remember, I'm a stranger.
You're a
So if you
stranger.
had to describe yourself for the first time ever, to people who are listening, getting to know you for the first time, and they asked you that question, how would you answer that?
Ask the question again for me.
What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Talk shit and swallow spit. No, I'm just joking.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not joking. I say that, and that's the truth. I do those things. I do talk shit and I swallow spit. What do? I show up. I show up.
Mm.
I am a good friend. I am gonna show up. I'm gonna show up. It's what I do. Like, I don't leave people hanging. What do I do? That's a hard ass question. I always thought who I am was a hard question, but I think I've kind of nailed that. I'm good at that now.
Mm.
What do I do? I love hard.
Okay, here's what about you makes you you?
Oh,
Let's ask that question.
it's my energy. Like, you will never find um this ever again. And I've had people tell me, not a lot, but I've had people tell me, you remind me of so and so. Like, just the other day, my cousins and I had like a kickback at my cousin's house, and this guy that, I don't know if she's dating him or what is going on, but he was there, and at the end he said, you remind me of that lady, that comedian, the white lady,
The white lady.
yeah. And I'm looking at him like, fuck you talking about, I remind you of a white lady. I'm like, what? And so he was talking about what's her name? I love her.
Which one?
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, I'll take that as a compliment, because she's funny as shit. Like, I will take that. Like, I can see where somebody who didn't really know me, like, they could put that together, because I'm kind of like, my energy is kind of like that. Like, I'm goofy, I'm funny.
Well, I find that when people always try to relate something to something,
yeah,
right?
and you can't relate me to shit, because it's one. It's one, and I go out of my way to not be like anybody else.
Yes. Yeah, that's why my Instagram name is only one Arys.
Oh, well, then there's that.
We're just one, right? Like, we are individuals
But there are clones. Some people are clones.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's your sign?
I'm a Taurus. What about you?
That's why.
What about you?
That's why I love you already.
What's your sign? Cancer?
I'm a Libra. No.
Libra. Okay.
I'm a Libra.
When's your birthday?
October 22nd. I'm really a Libra Scorpio. I don't know if you're really into astrology, but
adjacent.
I'm a Libra sun, I'm a Libra rising, and a Scorpio moon.
Okay. Yeah, we were supposed to get along, you and I.
Yeah,
Libras
absolutely.
and Taurians.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are snowflakes, but each snowflake is not identical to another, right? So, like, us as people, there's so many people on this planet, but we're all individualistic. Like, we're just one of one. You know what I mean?
One
so
of one.
I'm with you on that. When did you discover yourself?
I'm still discovering. I'm still figuring shit out. I think people who try to make it seem like they've got to figure out, they're full of shit. I don't think we ever fucking figure it out. You know when I think we figure it out? When we take that last breath, or like that last 24 hours and watch. I'm about to cry. And so I do this thing where when I can feel like my tear ducts like start working, and I say out loud, I'm about to cry, to kind of stop myself to the cry.
Step back.
My therapist thinks I'm a psychopath for doing that. She's like, why do you keep doing that? And I'm like, I don't know. But watching my grandfather, the last hours of his life, and he was doing a lot of sleeping, that was really interesting. I will never fucking forget that for as long as I live. It was really, really interesting for me. Hold on for 1 second.
Sure.
Huh? This is my best friend, Arys, by the way.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
He can't see.
Hi.
and he just got tired and just came in.
Is that what you told him?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. And then I said, let me tell her so that when they say
So that when they
something to
say,
her,
okay.
that you don't
So
be
tell
like,
them that I
"What is
stay the
y'all-"
night at somebody else's
No,
house.
you don't have to tell them
Okay.
that, but that's what
That's what you told them.
Okay, I'm going to my office. I got
Okay.
Is she
I
asking
will-
you to lie for her boyfriend? To her boyfriend?
Listen, he just said, is she asking you to lie to her boyfriend? No.
Oh.
No, she told, I don't know. I know. She already lied. She told the people at, my best friend is essentially my boss.
Okay. Okay.
And she told the people here that I got here early because I told you I'm always late. I got here early because I stayed the night. I didn't stay at home in the comfort of my own home last night. I was at somebody's house rolling around, so I just decided to come to work early. I don't even know why you did that, but it's fine.
Well, they said, well, why is she here? I was so surprised because she was rolling in somebody.
Oh, I got it. It's none of their business what I'm doing. Got what you're doing.
I didn't want to tell them.
No, I'm
They
glad.
gotta know that.
They don't need to know it.
But it was funny.
It is very funny. I'm gonna come up because I want to tell you about my conversation with Mr. Shaw last
Okay.
night. Okay. All right.
I just want to say that interaction was amazing.
Yeah.
Whatever that interaction was amazing.
We have been friends for 22 years.
Yeah, you gotta love Black women. She's Black,
Yeah.
right? You just gotta.
I mean, you don't know that, but yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't.
And that's not to say that I don't have white friends. Here comes the most racist
or
statement
other-
ever.
yeah.
I have white friends. But I don't have a lot of white women that I hold dear to my heart. I
Right.
have about 2, maybe 3
Right.
that I like trust. And that's just based on my own, like, you can edit this out if you want.
I'm thinking of keeping it all in. I like
You can.
the raw organic stuff
It's
is
good.
the best, you know?
And that's who I am. That's who I am at all times. And some people can swallow it and some people can't. I was telling you, what was I saying?
We were talking about
those final hours, like
Yes,
watching
yes.
him. And so I consider myself like a studier, womp womp, a student of human behavior. I watch
Yes.
people closely. I talk a lot. I'm loud, but while I'm doing that, that's kind of a distraction so that I can like cue in on you and figure out who you are. And watching him, everybody in the room was talking, and I was just watching his breathing. I was watching like his movement. That last like 24 hours of people's lives, and I mean people who live and like transition in a non-violent or non-abrupt way.
Right.
I think that's when you fucking figure it out, man. I think that is when, because that is when you don't have a choice but to figure it out. That's when you figure out who am I? Have I been? How have I shown up? Who and how? Who am I? Who have I been? How do I show up in the world? How have I shown up in the world? What is my legacy? And not even legacy, because sometimes I don't like when people talk about that. I think it's bullshit. Like, shut the fuck up about a legacy. But like, what have you left for the world?
Damn.
Like, what am I leaving for everybody?
Where are you going?
Ooh, this is aggressive. Shit. Where am I going? This is a perfect opportunity to throw in a very good, like, old Black adage. To hell if I don't pray. Where am I going? I'm going to the top. I want to be the first multimillionaire in my family. I want to be a staple in the Black community. I want to pour into my community the way I feel like my community and my family has poured into me. I want to be for my community and my people what they need to the most of my ability. However I can show up for them. But I want to show up, and I want to show up at 100%. I want to give back to my community more than I took from them.
Why are you still here?
The grace of God. It is only by the grace of God that I am still here, and that I'm still here and able to be in the very situation that I'm in. Because my life, listen, I could tell you some stories. My life could have been very different. I've already given you a little bit. Like, my parents were 15 and 18. I could stop right there and you can just run wherever you want to run with that. I grew up in Baltimore and in Compton. It is only the grace of God. Yeah.
When you think about your life, right? How will your future look like? in your opinion, in your mind, in your through
How
your
I imagine it.
yeah.
It's gonna be lavish. It's gonna be opulent. Opulent is my new fucking favorite word. I'm gonna run that shit in the ground in 2021. It is so much more joy in my future than it has been in my past.
Mm.
Yeah.
Quick question. Do you have a favorite episode of your podcast so far?
No, I have a lot of them.
Or
I
do
have
you feel
several.
like whatever you're about to create in season 2 is going to be like your
Um,
best foot forward, I guess?
I don't know. I'm going to always strive to be better, but I think that there's something to be said about my first season, because I feel like it's like an artist's first album or
Yeah.
their first painting
Yeah.
or their first, like you, I'm an artist. Like I paint. I'm not really good at it, but I do it because it makes me feel good. I can make jewelry. I do all kinds of shit. I was a makeup artist. I'll be a makeup artist till the day that I die, but I was a full-time um, makeup artist for 5 years. That's all I did. So I feel like that original space where you just start to create, that's sacred ground. So that first 19 episodes, 20 episodes, 19? Shit, I don't know. 19. That first 19 episodes, that is like holy ground for me.
It's like the
Because
foundation.
it's the foundation of Hand Me My Purse, the podcast.
I can relate. I mean, like the Who and How Club went through, and one of my New Year's resolutions is to not really bring up anything before this year,
Mhm.
like especially. I don't know. I'm in a forward thinking, moving forward kind of energy, right? But just to reference something, and I've mentioned it on the podcast, like this show went through 3 different versions before we got to this version that we're at right now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And sometimes it takes that like trial and error. You know, you see what works, what doesn't, until you get
So you get it
that
right.
vision exactly, and it ends up and it turns into the thing you've always envisioned it being. So we're in version number 3 or 4 right now, and
3.0.
3.0. Yeah, so I get exactly what you're saying. You got to lay the foundation, but that
Yeah.
foundation is going to take some time, some trial and
Mhm.
error and all of that, you know.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited to hear the first episode of season 2. Like
I'm
after
excited.
getting to know you, it makes me want to listen to you more, and I hope that the listeners of this show feel the same way. You know what I mean? Like
I hope so.
we just talk to strangers, and then you follow them afterwards. You know,
I like that.
it's just like when you what I'm starting to realize, like let's say online dating for an
Oh,
example,
I have
right?
an episode about that. It's so if let me tell you something. If
Yeah,
you want to laugh until you cry,
yeah,
I did a series on like dating in the Black community,
yeah.
and it's episodes 12, 13, 14, and 15. Episode 12 is possibly, it's in my top 3 favorite episodes. 5. I have top 5. It's so fucking funny
Yeah.
because we're just sitting talking about like our trials with online dating. I listened to it 5 times because I thought it was that funny.
You got to bring me on the show.
I
What,
I,
like if
I
you
would
have like
love
a
to.
if you have like a panel, like you and whoever, like bring me on too,
I
and
would
just
love to.
let's share
Let's
some
do it.
different perspectives. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
Absolutely, let's do it. I always want to talk to guys because like men listen to my show,
Mm,
contrary to popular belief.
yes, yes.
Men listen to my show, and like I want to always have like a male perspective on the show because it's not just for women. Um, and like I want men to listen to the show.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down. I'm gonna be. You have a new listener now,
All
starting
right. I'm
Friday.
down.
So yeah, I'm gonna add you to my
Let me tell you
podcast
something.
list.
They love me in Canada. I got in my top 10, my top 10 countries, actually my top 5 countries that I'm listened in.
Yeah.
Of course, America, Canada, uh, South Africa,
Mm.
the Bahamas, and I think now like shit, I don't know the last one. It's either the UK.
Yeah.
I think it might be the UK, but Canada is number 2.
Well, you got me, like I mentioned, as a new listener, so for sure I'm
Good.
gonna indulge,
Good.
and then we'll do like a crossover episode or something like that, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can learn from you. You've been doing this longer than I have.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we could learn from each other and just talk about anything, you know. And then I'm also planning, like, I'll invite you back on the show and we'll just follow that
Happily.
journey. You know what I'm saying? After season 2 launches, we'll do another episode.
I'd love to.
So now we're gonna get into the Ask the Club segment.
Okay.
Before we close off, this is where the guests on the show get to present their own kind of questions, whether they want to ask me or pose to the community, and then I can respond because everyone gets a turn on this show. So do you have your questions?
I do.
All right. How many do you have? I'm curious.
3.
Okay. So yeah, take it away.
My first question is, as my northern neighbor, as a northern neighbor of the country that is up in flames for the entire world to see, what is it like to bear witness? Timeout flag on the play. Let me give you 2 seconds just so you can edit this out. How do you identify, like, as far as ethnicity or race?
Oh, we could keep this in because I talk about this a lot, but you know, that
could be one of my questions. Let's let that be one of my questions. How do you identify? Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sometimes I'm afraid to answer this question, especially when a person of, and I don't even like the term person of color either.
I'm not a person of color.
Exactly. But my sister or my brother, when they ask me this question, I'm afraid to answer because I'm afraid of how my brother or sister is going to look at me, because I don't just identify with just quote unquote black or white. In fact, I don't identify with any of the things that they told us we need to identify as. And this is coming from, like, my mother, who's as dark as, you know, she's a dark-skinned woman, and she taught me that you got to look at yourself more than just those things, I don't even use the term race because we're human race, you know, but they separated us. They made us feel like we're different, but I do know that we're the first, you know. I do know that I just want my brother and sister to look at themselves deeper than just their skin tone or quote unquote black or whatever terms they taught us to use for ourselves. Like, I think we look at ourselves the way the world looks at us and the way they want us to look at ourselves, but we're actually deeper than our skin tone. We're deeper than these terms, these shades, etc.
We're original.
So yeah, exactly. So I identify with just being Arys, you know, and even that is a title, you know. I'm connected to the above, and that's deeper than any skin tone. But for the layman's, for the people who are on a certain level, sure, I'm mixed, whatever. Yeah, I'm black, whatever. I don't know, you know.
Where's your mom from, or her family?
My mom's born here, but she's mixed. She has Jamaican in her, and also I don't know if you've ever heard of a place called Montserrat.
Yes. Please don't offend me. I'm very cultured. I'll have you know, Arys. Thank you. I'm a woman of
MeMe.
I'm a woman of many places, many traveled places. Have I been to Montserrat? No, but I do know where it is.
So she's Montserratian and Jamaican, but she's born here, you know, and
yeah.
I was raised by my quote unquote black side of my family, but the same black people who I was raised by are the ones teaching me these lessons. Like, yo, Arys, you have to look at yourself. Don't get, you know. But I that doesn't take away from, like, what people go through on a day to day. I know there are struggles with being black, you know. Maybe it's easier for me to say because I'm mixed, but it's not about that. It's what I was taught. And I was taught by dark-skinned black women that don't let your skin be how you...
Don't let it define you.
Exactly.
And I kind of understand that because I can understand that perspective from the notion that, like, the world is going to define you anyway.
Regardless. Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have
so why do you have to do that to you?
So just, you don't have to do it for yourself if you don't, because they're going to do it for you.
And we're not black. Like, this picture, this picture behind us is black.
It's black.
Have you seen a person who looks like that? Even in the depths of India or Africa, the darkest person who looked blue even, there's no one that's walking around like a shadow.
You're right.
So we have to be careful about how we define ourselves.
So I think for me, for me, I find, and maybe it's also because I grew up like in America, but
Mm.
I find pride in saying that. You know what I mean? But I will say that we are known, or oppressed people are known for taking, excuse me, like the scraps or the negative energy, almost like, I don't really know a lot about it, but my little brother, he'll be 30 in this year. So kids watch like what is the thing
Dragon
that,
Ball Z.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you take that ball of energy and
That
then you,
energy. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
a whatever that's called when they Super
Yeah. You
Saiyan or
get.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
King
that
Fighter.
they
Yeah.
do it and they shoot it back at you. So
Yeah.
you throw something negative at me, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna throw my magic on it, and then I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
So yeah, call me a nigga. Watch this. I'm gonna take it and we gonna spin it and we gonna make it our own.
Yeah.
You call me, that's been done in the LGBT community. I know with certain terms. I'm not gonna say them because I don't feel like I don't have the right to
Yeah.
say them,
Yeah.
so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say them. But
We could
that
say.
happens. People, I'm definitely not gonna say them.
I'll say them.
Because
Say-
please don't. Don't. I don't want you to get in that kind of trouble.
Get shut down. Podcast shut down. No.
Yeah,
Nah,
podcast.
we don't.
Party done. They
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
fully done. We're not
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there's a pride in America with being called Black. And some people in America don't want to be called Black. They would like to be called African American or whatever. I'm not with none of that. Just call me Black. I'm good with it. Like I'm not, and I think it also has a lot to do with not really having the details of your identity because of the way we were
exactly
brought here. That for me, Black is the one thing that I can connect with, even if it is what the world gives me.
Yeah.
Like nobody else can say it.
Yes.
Even if they try to pretend. Like, what's that lady's name? If I ever see her on the street, I'm gonna punch her in her face. Rachel Dolezal.
Oh my god.
Like, you can pretend that you're Black.
The
But
definition of a loser, man.
man,
That's
she should write a book called The Definition of a Loser.
no, but look, that's a person who doesn't love themselves.
Yeah, no.
They're not happy with who they were born as. They have to go and take the identity of someone else. So I would be damned if I take the identity of what someone is placing upon me, like some people from India or from those countries, they refer to themselves as brown, but Black people are also brown. So what are we talking about here? Like, it's a fucked up concept, and we really need to have conversation.
It's a social
concept.
construct
Yeah.
that has been created, and it was created by people that don't look like me.
Us,
or even you.
Yeah.
It was created by people that look
and we're
like,
following it. We're following the structures that they did that, but how we operate, how we
but
look
I will
at it.
not be called. I refuse to be called African American, and not because I have anything against, like, Africa is all in my bones, like it's in my bones.
It's in our blood.
And it's so much in my bones that if I hear, there's a type of music out of DC called go-go music.
Oh yeah.
You know about go-go music.
Of course,
everybody does. Even if they don't know, they do.
Yeah.
If go-go music comes on, like, I feel like this, like, tingling in my spine. And I know that that's nothing but a direct connection to Africa for me.
Yes.
I know, it's like I feel it. It's almost like an ancestral feeling. Like it's like, what is happening to me?
Yes.
But I don't want to be called African American because I don't feel like the two should ever be connected. Don't connect my Africa to my America or the America. I mean, it's my America. Let me not say that. I don't really want to own it, actually.
Yeah.
My Africa to America.
Any other club questions or?
Yes.
Ask them.
So I want to know.
So which ones? Where did we? What were your what? No, it's all good. That's good. What out of your three? Which were the one? Because we just answered like 100 questions.
We did. I want to know how it feels, or how do you feel watching our country, the country, which we are a part of the same continent, but what is it like to look and see like what's happening here?
It's, from my perspective, it's like seeing what you always thought would happen at some point. You know what I mean? And things like that have happened, in different times, whether it's one community you know, doing that, whatever the form of protest they decide, like riots and all that jazz. Like, it just sucks that it's a racial thing now, you know. It's like the quote unquote white people are surviving. Yeah, a couple people died, but people are saying if this was a black group storming the Capitol or whatever, that more people would have died. People would have
Oh,
just gotten
absolutely.
shot and murdered.
Hmm.
Seeing it on the news is wild. Do you think you're watching a show or a reality, like
Yeah.
it's scripted or something?
Like a
Like,
movie.
yeah, like, is this
Yeah.
really happening so close to us? But this happens everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And it sucks that we're so far removed from that. Like, this is the selfishness or the
It's
like
a
what
form
we're
of privilege.
privileged. There you go. Like, this could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Even if I drive through a certain neighborhood, like, I could get shot anywhere. It doesn't matter if I don't know. I don't know. But from my perspective, I've tried to stay away from it. I've watched it. I was at my grandma's house a couple days ago and we're watching it, and
What does she say?
it's scary. It's scary. You know, she's news hungry, you know. She watches the news
Old
religiously,
people.
old
They love
people.
it.
So
My grandmother watches every news. She watches the 12 o'clock news. She watches the 4 o'clock news, the
4 o'clock,
five
6
o'clock news, the
o'clock, yeah,
6 o'clock news, the
7
10
o'clock.
o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, and the 11 o'clock
I said,
news.
Grandma, we're trying to eat dinner. Take this shit off the TV, man. Like, I just want to come spend time with you. Like,
Yeah, I don't want to watch this.
but yeah, you know, it's my grandma has seen so much, you know, in life.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's as shocked as I am.
Right.
She's like, oh, that damn Donald Trump and this and that,
Mhm.
and you know, but she's not like like, she doesn't make those comments like white people and this and that.
Yeah.
She's mixed herself, you know. So
Okay.
she just looks at it and says, what a crazy time we're in.
Yeah.
But she's seen it all, you know. She's seen the
Right.
first black president. She's seen it all. She came to Canada when she was like, I think 19, and
Okay.
she's 75
From
now.
Jamaica?
No, she's Montserratian.
From
Yeah.
Montserrat.
Yeah,
Montserratian.
yeah. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
Okay.
What else you got?
What else do I have? I don't want to ask my other questions. They're not as cool. You know what? I want to ask you, what do you want to leave for the world?
Mm. What do I want to leave for the world? Like,
I'm
if
gonna do
like
like
if
you
I were
did me. I
like if
can't. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say.
oh, this is what it feels like. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh
gonna say.
hmm. I want a piece of me, whether that's through, you know, my art, my things that I've created, or, you know, through a child, you know, like a piece of me. I don't have any children, but maybe one day, whatever, like
I don't either.
through, okay. So yeah, like maybe through, I don't know, just I want to leave a piece of me. I want someone to look at something or someone, whether it's through, like I said, a child or something that I've created, and be like, oh, that's Arys right there. And that's enough for me, you know. Like, people who really know me, they're like, yeah, that's Arys. If I were to leave tomorrow and they go back and listen to something or they see something, they're like, yeah, that's him. That's a
Okay,
piece of him that he left here for us, you know.
got it.
So yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Ask the Club segment. I want to shout out MeMe. Let's give a round of applause. I'll add that in post. But I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being our first guest for 2021. This is like a
I feel
pleasure.
honored.
Yeah, it is
I'm
an honor.
honored.
Like, I love this conversation. It's about an hour, almost an hour and a half. So I thought,
Yeah.
like, I love these conversations. Like, I think that we could sit and talk longer,
Mhm.
based on our conversation. So I really just want to express my appreciation. If you had any last words, like, to the world, to the listeners, like, what's something that you would say? If you had like 2 minutes to say something,
To
what would
say
you say?
something to the world. This is some heavy shit you're laying on me, dude. Okay.
It's too
Let's see.
early.
If I
I'm
had,
sorry.
it's too, no, I had my coffee. I'm good to go. If I had 2 minutes to say something to the world, what would I say? Be a good human.
Mm.
Like, be a good human being, aside from I'm the kind of person that I see everything through a racial lens. I think just because of my experience, the experiences that I've had, um, how I was raised, uh, you know, the things that I see even to this day. To this day, but I'm sorry. Um, but I think that I would say just be a good human. And if you have not started, embark on an authentic journey, which is hard. People always want to say, even me, before I started going to therapy this last time, oh, I'm super authentic. I'm authentic. Oh, that lady deconstructed everything. No, I'm not always my authentic self.
Mm.
If you have not started, begin a journey to figuring out who your authentic self is and understanding why you don't always show up as your authentic self. The root, get to the root of that. And just be a good human, man. I just think that if more people stopped and thought about what a good human being would do. Not a good black person, not a good white person, not a good Asian person, not a
Not a
good
good
this person.
male, not a
Yeah.
good
Not a
female.
good man, not
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
woman, not a
yeah,
good lesbian, not a good homosexual
yeah,
man, not a
yeah,
good
yeah,
trans woman, or not.
yeah.
Just be a
Not a
good
good
fucking,
boss, not a good
no,
student,
not a
like
good
those
friend, not a
titles.
good
Yeah,
daughter.
yeah, yeah.
Just be a good human. I really think that life would be better for everybody because you would
Mm,
stop and think before you move. Like, think before you navigate and process. Be a
mm.
good
Think
person.
about others before,
Yeah.
before you
Or
make
just more than that, just think about, like, this is a very simple thing, cause and effect.
it.
For
Mm,
every action, there's a reaction. Everything you do, there's going to be some kickback to that, whether the kickback is good or it's bad or it's neutral. But for everything you do, there's a response. So
mm.
if you stop and you process and think, I'm going to be a good person in this instance, I just really believe that life would be a lot better for the human race.
Yes, yes. I love that. That was well said. I really like that.
Thank you.
We're gonna next time you're on the show, or when I come on your show, whatever, we're gonna dive into that therapy stuff, because that's
Okay.
something that I want to touch base on with you, and that's something that I've been looking into on my side as well. So I
I
want
had
to
my
talk.
therapist on my show, episode 17. That is probably my favorite episode.
Okay, I might go listen to that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna listen to that and get to.
I actually had a breakthrough on the show.
Mm, okay. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna take that one in, and we're gonna talk more about that in the weeks to come. But
Okay.
congratulations! Shout out to your show.
Thank you.
Hand me
Thank you.
my
Thank you.
purse, and I
Hand me
wish
my
you all the
purse.
success for season 2. Everybody, go listen to that
Likewise.
wherever podcasts are found. Go listen to season 2, which is coming out this Friday. That's January 15th, and follow Mimi Walker on all social media platforms. You want to give that to them again?
Sure. On Instagram, you can find me at hand me my purse _ podcast. Twitter, I'm not really big on Twitter. I'm trying to get my Twitter bird feed again, but it's at HMMP _ podcast. And on Facebook, I don't really do a lot on Facebook. I'm kind of moving out of
No
that.
one does. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For my personally, I do Facebook, but Instagram is really where it's popping for hand me my purse.
100%.
Yeah.
And do me a favor, Mimi, send me your cover art to your podcast if you
Okay.
can. And then I'm gonna use that as our cover art to promote the show and make it the cover art to this episode so that people can,
Okay.
just that cross promotion and all of that. And
Absolutely.
this episode, it's
Absolutely.
Wednesday, but the episode will be out tomorrow morning. So yeah.
Likewise, can you just
let's-
send me yours, because I would like to put yours out there before Friday, because Friday I'm going ham like for mine. Just send me yours so that I can do the same
I
thing.
got you. I'm gonna
I
send
can just
yeah,
post
everything.
it on Thursday.
Yeah, all the stuff that I got, I'll send them to you, and I'll
Okay.
have like some clips as well that we could
Okay.
use,
That'd be awesome.
and let's just cross promote this, and because this is a great
Absolutely.
great conversation, so I appreciate you.
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right.
I appreciate you having me on. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, we killed it. I wasn't sure if we were, because it was so
You
early,
never
but
know. Yeah, oh no. I'm here for it.
so, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Who and How Club. You know the slogan, you are the who and how. I am the who and how, and we are the who's and how's of this world. Without you, without me, there is no we. So all we got to do is just have a conversation, and we'll get to know each other and connect and see how much we relate to one another. Shout out to 2021.
Yes, it's gonna be a good year.
We're
Cheers.
starting
You
it
know
off
what?
strong.
I'm gonna cheers you with that.
Wait, what is that? What is that? Is
Water,
that
man.
oh, I thought it was vodka.
Wow. No.
It was so close
No,
to the
it's
thing.
It's
Oh,
not.
oh, you know what? I do
That would
have
be a
one
problem.
last question for you. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What
Mhm.
is, do you have a New Year's resolution?
I don't have a resolution. Um, I have some goals. I have some things that I want to do, but I don't have one. You know what? What the fuck? Let's say I want to lose 50 pounds this year. So
Mm,
that can be it. But I have so many things that I want to do that I just can't really narrow it down to one. I want to, and I feel like resolutions create pressure,
mm.
but pressure creates diamonds, so that's a good thing. But I don't like to, I don't like that like pressure
The
because
pressure,
I
yeah.
can I can get a little anxiety. I don't want to be like stressed out and then rocking in the chair with my eyeballs looking like Ren and Stimpy because I didn't meet a resolution.
Yeah. And you
Yeah,
can't go cold turkey. I feel like as soon as January
no.
1st hits, people kind of do that
People set
switch. But
themselves. They
yeah,
set themselves up
you
for
gotta
failure.
transition into
Yeah,
those changes that you, whether it's like stopping, like you don't want to smoke anymore. Like you can't go cold
right.
turkey. You gotta
No.
ease.
And
You
that's
got
what I'm doing.
yeah,
That's what I've been doing for the past 13 days. Easing.
easing.
Yeah.
All right, Mimi, I'm with you.
All
I'm
right,
easing too.
Eris.
All right. So we'll
All right.
talk. You've been listening
Yes.
to the Who and How Club. Thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Bye.
One.